and welcome to Miss Mac's Culinary Kitchen. My name is Elizabeth Francine Ivory, and I love to bake. Bread has been called the staff of life because it supports the very basics of life. The world of bread is vast and varied, but today we're going to narrow it down a bit and make some easy and delicious dinner rolls. So let's get started. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. You'll need 1 cup of warm water between the temperatures of 105 to 115 degrees. You can measure your temperature by using a stem thermometer. This is very important because if your water is too hot, your yeast will not rise. Sprinkle 2 packages of dry yeast over the water, add in 2 teaspoons of granulated sugar, and stir until dissolved. Set it aside and let it bloom for about 15 minutes. Now for the dough. You will need 1 cup of milk, 2/3 cup of sugar, 10 tablespoons of butter, and 1 teaspoon of salt. I put these in a saucepan, and you can also put them in the microwave as well. I use the saucepan because I feel like I have more control over the temperature. Take 2 eggs. Put the 2 eggs into the mixing bowl and just beat slightly. Now that all of your liquid ingredients are combined, we are now ready to add the flour. Spray the inside of a large bowl with cooking spray. Use a clean kitchen towel that you've run under hot water and wrung out tightly to place over top of your bowl. Let the dough rise in a draft-free place until it is double in size. This will take about an hour. Now that the dough is ready, I want to show you a few different ways to shape your rolls. I begin by melting some butter. I then squeeze the dough up through my hands in order to make a smooth ball. I make sure to spray my pans with non-stick spray so that the rolls will come out easily. This style roll is called a cloverleaf roll. I put 3 small balls of dough in each muffin cup. This next roll here is called the pocketbook roll. Back in the day, they used to call women's purses pocketbooks. And every time I see these rolls, it brings back fond memories of my mom. I can just remember her saying, "Girl, if you don't take that nickel and put it in your pocketbook, I'm gonna take it." If you want to make your dough into a sweet treat, you can roll it out into cinnamon rolls and roll them up pinwheel style. Set the rolls in a warm, draft-free space and let them double in size. Put your rolls in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes or bake until they're golden brown. Let your rolls sit for about 10 minutes before you take them out and place them on your cooling rack. Brush your rolls generously with melted butter. Put some glaze on your cinnamon rolls. Now it's time to enjoy and share with those you love. Until next time. I grew up in a small town in Southwest Virginia called Abingdon, and I think that our claim to fame is probably the Barter Theater. The Barter came about in 1933, and the idea was that people could come and pay their entrance into the theater with produce. The Barter Theater is still a very thriving theater these days, but the produce has now turned to cash. I grew up in the 50s and 60s. My dad and mom were both hardworking people. My dad was he was a mechanic by trade, but he worked at the local hardware store called Vans Hardware in downtown Abingdon. He also, during that time, the schools were segregated, and my father worked as a custodian at the black elementary school, Kings Mountain Elementary School. He also had a side business where he had a truck which he collected garbage out in an area of Abingdon that wasn't being serviced by the town at that time. My mom worked as a cook Also, she worked as a domestic cleaning other people's homes. When the schools integrated in 1965 and Kings Mountain was shut down, eventually it became a daycare center, and my mom worked at the daycare center as a cook also. I can remember at noon in Abingdon, what was called the 12 o'clock whistle would blow. And the 12 o'clock whistle meant that it was time for lunch. So I can remember like clockwork, my dad would be coming up the hill towards our house for lunch. And I remember that the drink of choice in our house was orange Kool-Aid. Everybody in the house drank orange Kool-Aid. There was no assorted beverage list. Everybody drank orange Kool-Aid and everybody liked it. My parents taught us to love the Lord. They also taught us to love one another. They taught us to love our neighbors. They taught us to share what we had, the importance of getting a good education, the importance of having good work ethic, and also the importance of being a good citizen and loving our country. I remember one time we were sitting at the dinner table, and I remember saying to Dad, I said, "Daddy, we rich, ain't we?" And he laughed so hard. And I started laughing too. I was thinking at the time that we were rich in money. But as I think back over my life, I see now that we were rich in so many ways, in the ways that are really important. We were rich in love. When people say something is like the Rock of Gibraltar, they mean it's strong and solid, not going anywhere. Plymouth Rock is reputed to be the first place that pilgrims set foot in 1620. No matter how strong a firm foundation you think you have, or where your feet are planted, if you're not planted on the solid rock Jesus Christ, then you, my friend, are on sinking sand. John 6:35 says, "I am the bread of life. He who comes to me will not hunger, and he that believes in me will never thirst." Thanks so much for watching, and if you liked us, give us a thumbs up and subscribe.